There are 4 life-changing truths that you need to know if you want to make your first $100,000 this year, and they're hidden in 4 books that no one is talking about. By now, you've probably seen dozens of videos recommending a bunch of books to get rich, but the books that I'm gonna reveal, they're the only reason I went from being homeless to building a 6-figure business. I didn't come from a rich family. I lived in foster homes and ate from food kitchens. I literally broke free from generational poverty, traveled all over the world. I can confidently share with you the books that actually worked for me because most of them were a waste of time, to be honest, but these ones worked for me and they will work for you too. So you remember Simba from The Lion King? He spent years in exile, separated from his destiny, even though there was a whole kingdom waiting for him. That was actually me before I understood this first book. See, 6 years ago, I was a neuroscience major who dropped out of college because I wanted to travel the world. I thought I had made the right decision, but 3 months later, I was filled with nothing but regrets. My bank was overdrafted, I was homeless and eating out of food kitchens. This was my elephant graveyard. My financial life would have been so different if I'd read 7 Strategies for Wealth and Happiness by Jim Rohn sooner. All 7 strategies from this book teach you how you can create true wealth, but number 3 is the one that actually changed my life, and I'm sure it can for you too, but you really have to get it, because if you don't get this one, none of the other ones that I share today are going to work for you. See, when I started this financial journey, I was impatient. I was always looking for shortcuts in life and business, and I tried all these business ideas, but I would get bored and switch a few weeks later. I always half-assed things, and I, like most people, thought that getting rich was about finding unique ways to make $100,000 or $1 million, but in reality, anything can actually make you rich. The hardest but most crucial step is becoming the type of person that earns your dream income. It's a total identity shift. The book says, in order to develop an above average income, you need to become an above average person. If you want an extraordinary income, you need to become an extraordinary person. So if you're broke right now, stop trying to find the magic cure in all your external circumstances and start embodying the beliefs, habits, and behaviors of a wealthy, successful person. When I was broke, there was times where I didn't want to get up at 5 a.m. and work on my teaching business, but the type of person who earned 6 figures did that. So you know what? I did that too. When I had dreams of 6 figures, but still operated at a $10 an hour person mentality, I remained in my situation, and I only got out when I completely shifted the type of person that I was. So what type of above average things do you need to start doing to earn an above average income? What kind of above average habits? What kind of above average beliefs? What kind of above average skills do you need to learn? Because when I dedicated myself to becoming an extraordinary person, that's when my income did the same. But you can have all the right beliefs, habits, and all that, and you still won't be rich or reach your goals if you don't get to the right side of making money. And I literally mean the right side. Here's what I mean. Right now, like everyone else, you wake up, you make some crappy coffee so you can stay awake at your crappy job where you're hounded by your crappy boss who hates his crappy life. You're dreaming of Friday, you're too tired to enjoy Saturday, and you spend Sunday dreading Monday. You don't have the time, energy, or knowledge to make more money or to even get out of that cycle. And so you think, is this all that there is to life? That's exactly where I was before I understood that there are 4 paths to wealth. I was just on the wrong one. Rich Dad's Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki talks about the 4 wealth quadrants. E for employee, S for small business owner or self-employed, B for business owner, and I for investor. When I understood these, I jumped as fast as I could from the E to the S quadrant because I didn't want to work for other people and I wanted to work on my own schedule. But things didn't really turn out as expected because when I was teaching English classes, I realized that although I could choose my own tasks and work when I wanted, I was still trapped. I still didn't have the freedom that I wanted. Sure, I had my own business, but I was still a slave to money. And this is the trap that most people fall into when going from 9 to 5 and they're thinking of financial freedom through self-employment or something else. Because even if you own your own business, if you don't set it up in a way that you have your money working for you, then you're basically just owning a job. That's what this book taught me. And it was like, okay? So if you're on the left side of the quadrant, you'll never have the freedom to go and spend all the day on the beach or with your family or doing whatever, whenever. What you need to do is go to the right side of the quadrant where people use other people's time and their own assets to create more wealth with less time. So a few months after reading this book, I started asking myself, how can I stop trading my time for money? I learned about digital products, which I'm a big advocate for, and I wrote 2 ebooks and I start promoting them. And about 3 months later, I got to the point where I was like, wow, I'm making $100 a day in passive income from my ebook. And this was the first time I actually felt rich, not because of the monetary value, but because I finally had what most people don't, which is control over my time. That is the true wealth. I know you're probably skeptical right now because I'm making it sound so easy, but you know that selling a product or starting a business or doing whatever is not that easy. Well, I thought the same thing until I read this next book. This book is my secret sauce. It's the reason why I've had success in almost every business that I've had so far. Because you can have the right mindset and do all the right things, but if you don't change this next thing, then you'll be stuck in the same cycle without a pot to piss in. And this one change that I made was enough for me to start getting messages from people from Forbes and other big companies as a newbie copywriter saying, we want to work with you, no interview, no nothing. All because of the advice that I learned from a book called Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. Always position yourself as the expert. That's what this book teaches. Most of you think that you need a ton of followers and be super viral to be seen as an expert or even have a lot of knowledge, and that's not really true at all. When I started as a crypto copywriter, I had max 40 followers and my post would get like 7 views, but the largest crypto ATM company in the US reached out to me wanting to work together, no questions asked. Because if you set yourself as the expert, even if you have only 100 people listening to you, you can sell 10 of those people something. But how did I do that in less than a month, and how can you? It's not really that easy, but it is simple. You have to get super hyper fixated on a topic. Learn everything that you can. Talk about this topic online. Become the go-to source for that thing. Act like you're basically the messiah of your niche. When I'm into something, I get super obsessed with it. So learning everything and reading all the books and watching all the videos is not hard for me. And if you have that same thing where you get super, super passionate about something, then you're in the perfect position to position yourself as an expert. I know positioning yourself as an expert might make you feel like an imposter, but think about this, okay? This is what I heard. According to Tim Ferriss, a successful American entrepreneur and author of The 4-Hour Workweek, which is a good book, if you read 3 books on a topic, you already know more than 95% of people. Now, imagine if you read 10 books, 20 books. The way that you show up is actually going to be insane. And you don't need to know everything. Don't put that pressure on yourself. You just need to know more than your target customer. Whatever it is, become an expert and then sell a digital product or a service that is attached to that. Once you understand this, I promise you, $100,000 is the least you'll ever make. To be honest, most of y'all can make 6 figures, but I'll be the bad guy here and say that you'll probably lose every penny you make. I know you're looking at me crazy, but that's exactly what happens to those who don't read this next book. I'm pretty confident this book would have saved Mike Tyson from filing for bankruptcy. See, he was a professional boxer who was once worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but he lost everything. And you can roll your eyes and think that that won't be you because you're so much smarter, but most people don't even know they're making this common mistake that will lead them to the same fate. I had no clue I was making this mistake when I was homeless, living in a gym closet in Hawaii. Because I didn't know this, there was rarely a day that I was not overdrafted, and whenever I did have money, I barely had like $50. I was always struggling to pay rent, and my roommates would be texting me like, "Energy, when are you gonna pay the rent?" I was really that person who was chronically broke. It's quite embarrassing to even be talking about right now because I was such a mess. But one day I just felt sick and tired. I had this man or woman in the moment mirror, and I was like, I'm so freaking tired of being broke. I'm tired of not having money. I'm tired of seeing everybody else like doing all these things, eating where they want, buying what they want, and I'm just over here like pinching pennies all the time. It was at this point that I came across the book I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Sethi Ramit, and the advice in this book took me from rock bottom to having financial stability. See, most times the source of financial ruin is not saving enough or like spending too much, but it's really trusting yourself too much. Now, what do I mean by that? The most dangerous money mistake that you can make is only having one bank account. This means that you trust yourself way too damn much to make sure that all the money goes where it needs to go. An automatic money system ensures that you don't spend money that you shouldn't spend by dividing your money into several different accounts according to your needs. That's the method that I use to keep my finances on track to this day. I have one account for rent, one for savings, one for utilities, one for bills, one that's just for my fun money, so I can run that account down to the ground if I want to, but I know that all my other needs are totally fine in the other accounts because, sometimes you pay for something and you think that you have enough money, but then the math doesn't check out at the end of the day. No, with an automated money system that is totally figured out for you. Also, when you do get paid, if your bank has it to where you can automatically deposit into certain accounts, certain percentages of your paycheck, or just when you first get paid, automatically do that when you get your money, divide it where it needs to go. This book has a lot of good advice, and this is just the one that helped me the most. I would have never gotten out of the crazy situation I was in if I didn't build the right mindset, detach my money from my time, position myself as an expert, and organize my money. If you do those 4 things, you'll be ahead of 99% of the people out there who are still scrolling through all these other money book videos, and they're being put through the ringer, to be honest. Okay, you now know the secret to making your first $100,000, but do you know how to make $100,000 in completely passive income? Because if you don't, whether you work a job or a business, you'll be stuck chasing money like a hamster on a wheel for the rest of your life. There's so many options out there to make passive income, from selling this product to investing in some random thing, but what do you actually do to make real, non-scammy passive income? To learn the exact answer to that question, I want you to watch this video next. I will see you there.